Hello, loves. So, welcome to what shall we call it? Our triangle of truth, where we gather for the season and we spill all of the tea on what is happening energetically, what is going on in our lives, and hopefully, we might be able to throw in some guidance or some advice. If you are just joining us and you don't know who we are, my name is Charlie Edwards. I am 1/3 of Project Earthwork. Anyone else?
I'm Yolandi and I am the third of Project Earthwork, and I have my tea. I see Karen doesn't have her tea.
Hey.
She's got water. Anyway, so yeah, thank you for joining us. We really felt that this month we wanted to have a little bit of a chat. We love doing our little group chats and spilling the tea or whatever we call it, where we just get together and we just riff a bit about like what's happening energetically, what's happening for everyone. It's Yule, it's Christmas, it's like celebration time. It's manic and hectic, and so many people are going through so many things. So we just wanted to dive in a little bit today and just give you our thoughts on this and a bit of a breakdown on energetically what's going on.
And before we go any further, let me say I'm Ceryn. By the way, I am the third of the Project Earthwork Triangle. Let me say also, if you really enjoy what we're saying here, if you are looking ahead to 2025 already and going, oh my God, sign me up for something amazing, we will be doing our second live in-person event ever in Glastonbury, UK this July. And it's going to be pure magic. We would love it if you would join us. If you want to book up by the end of this year, you will actually get a special early bird discount rate. Or you can pay monthly if that's feeling a little bit challenging for you. You can pay monthly. And the earlier you book that pay monthly, the lower your monthly cost will be. So I just want to drop that in the mix before we even get going, to have that in sort of ruminating in your cauldron and as it bubbles away, listening to everything we've got to say over the coming little while.
Awesome. Okay, so I think we should start with a deep breath. I feel like people need to breathe. I feel like I'm watching social media at the moment, and it's like the energy and the anxiety and the stress levels are just ramping up. It's now 2 weeks, exactly 2 weeks before Christmas, and I'm just watching everyone sitting here going, fuck, this is really intense this year. So I don't know what you guys think, but I'm just like, this is a lot, and people are feeling wired and intense, hectic, so much going on. Yeah, so breathe.
There's just so many expectations around this time of year, isn't there? Just
Hmm.
ridiculous expectations upon the normal expectations. And I think that's it's really showing up this year. I don't know if is Mercury in retrograde?
Yes,
Ah,
For another
of
week,
course it is.
this. Another few days
till
in.
Sunday.
Of course it is.
And Mars. Yay!
And we had crazy solar flares this week. So I think everybody is sleep deprived, stressed. They really are pulled from pillar to post at this time of year. We were talking before we came on live about how this is really a time of going inward and reflecting, and it's winter. We should be wintering, and how society kind of tells us to put our glad rags on and get something sparkly and go out. And sometimes that can be a bit too much, but also that can sometimes be avoiding some of the essential processes that happen through winter because it's an important season.
Mm.
And I almost feel like, this year more than ever, I wrote a blog post the other week about the fact that numerologically, I don't know if that's a word, as a world, we are moving into a 9-year. We move out of this Yule through into next calendar year, and we're moving into a 9-year. That is the end of a cycle. And as Yolandi will tell us, who is just coming to the end of her own personal 9-year, a 9-year end of a cycle is terrifying in a lot of ways. It is destabilizing. It feels like things are crumbling. It feels like things are just, the very ground beneath your feet isn't there in a lot of ways. Now, is that the case? Well, no, because we don't live in a linear world. We don't live a linear life. And so what happens when we get to the end of a 9-year? Guess what? We tick right the way back over into a 1-year and we start a new cycle. But that point of drawing to the end of something in a world, in a species, in a time where we have been pushed to believe in the linear, where we've been pushed to try and avoid change, That's terrifying. So we almost have that Yule energy of going into the darkness double this year. You know, we have the think about the way our ancestors in many ways would have loved this time of year, the hunkering down, the, you know, sitting with the family in front of the fire, all of that stuff. They did it properly. But also there would have been a terror to it way back when, as those nights get darker and darker and darker, when we don't understand the cycles of, you know, we don't understand what's going on, no matter how much we knew that it had been okay before, there'd always be a fear of, shit, is it going to be like this forever? Is the sun ever going to come back? And now I think we see that, we get that every year. And as Charlie says, it's probably why we all put our glad rags on and go out and party. It's why we all sit in that weird time between Christmas and New Year and go, I need to fill my diary. I can't just sit here. I need to fill my diary. I can't just sit here and dwell on all of the regrets I have from the year that's passed and all of the fear I have about the year to come. This year, though, you're seeing a macrocosm of that, I think, because you're seeing that darkness of an ending on a great big global scale. And we really need to allow that to settle in us, right? We need to sit in the reckoning of it for ourselves, for the world, not get stuck in the reckoning of it, but really sit with it and trust ourselves.
Yeah. And it feels like a time to almost like prepare yourself for what's to come next year, because like just having come like almost finishing my 9 year, this was a sticky as fuck year, right? Like it was like stuff was dragging and I was like disassembling and like literally like I feel like I've gone through a massive birthing process and letting stuff go and all of that. So it's all really, it's hard work, right? And when we go through that on a collective level, we're going to be witnessing stuff unraveling and falling next year. So are you within yourself in a place of sovereignty and strength that you can witness that and not get yourself caught up in that like massive vortex that's going to be created, where you can actually stand and be strong in it and not let it swallow you up, right? And that's what this time is for now. So when we say to you, sit and be with yourself, unravel, look at the misaligned shit, like what is it that you need to do? Because you're going to have to prepare for the global, the entire earth basically going through a period of going, everything's falling apart. And I can tell you now from personal experience, it is not easy. But if you haven't found the strength in yourself to witness this happening, no matter what number year you are in, you're part of the world. You are part of this ecosystem that we are all part of, and we're all feeling it. We're all going to be experiencing it in some way. So we have to be prepared. And that's what this time is for me, is like, this is a bolstering, like sorting my shit out, getting myself ready. That's how it feels for me.
I think for me, it's almost a reminder that we are in the womb phase. Like we're not even in the birth canal of the new year yet.
Yeah.
And reminding ourselves of that and taking ourselves right back to, how do I explain it with grace?
No grace required on this call, thanks.
We interact with a lot of people at this time of year. And I've been talking a lot this week about protection and how that's essential, whether you consider yourself spiritual, whether you cast a circle or not. But especially around this time of year, when we are in that wintering phase, we often forget that we are a single entity, a single soul, because we're in so much close contact with so many people all of the time and filling that space. Like Ceryn said, a lot of people feel that pull to fill their time and their calendar with a lot of things. We forget that how we think we are feeling is maybe not our own feeling, or the stress that maybe we are thinking is happening around us in our household or over our Christmas is actually somebody else's or something around us. And I think it's really important to bring ourselves back into our own space, protect our space, which is a whole other thing. That can be from boundaries, that can be multiple different ways around the festive season and around your winter, because winter is a key thing. But also understanding that there is no rushing that womb phase, that inner cave and that wintering phase, because that birth canal is coming either way. So you can push all you like and you can plan all you like, but you're still going to have that liminal phase, which I always think is the birth canal, which is that liminal phase between Christmas Day, and or Yule and New Year, where we don't know what day of the week it is. We're watching excellent television, Call the Midwife, obviously, and we're eating all of the food and we're feasting, but we don't know what day of the week it is. We're always in that liminal phase, and I think it's so easy to rush those things during this period. I think for me, it's so multifaceted this year, and I'm not in a year 9. I'm in a really sucky year 4. And year 5 probably won't be any better, but I'll be on the bridge. But I think it's super important to remember and to come back to yourself, as Yolandi is saying, to come back to your own sovereignty and back to your own beliefs and your own courage, and just observe. Kind of observe rather than absorb, which is really hard to do at this time of year.
I like that.
Good line.
Yeah.
Write
It's
that
not
down.
mine. I borrowed it from somebody, but I don't know who. Thank you to them.
Thanks.
But isn't it interesting? You know, someone said to me today, so we're recording this on the 11th of December, and someone said to me today, Ceryn, what's the portal tomorrow? And I was like, sorry, what? But it's 12:12. There's a portal. And I kind of went, you know what? Like, every double number we call a portal. Is it? Isn't it? You give it as much energy or as little energy as you want to, because you can make anything a portal if you want to, you know, especially chuck in the mix each of our birth charts, chuck in the mix, also all of these different opportunities. Anything can be a portal of possibility if we choose for it to be so. But I think if you consider that, you know, what did we say not 10 minutes ago? So here we are, 11th of December. We have coming up in the next 3 weeks, we've got 12/12, do with that what you will. Mercury goes direct. I think Mars goes direct before Christmas, but I might be wrong. We've got a full moon. We've got Yule. We've got Christmas. We're going to have a new moon. We've got a New Year. And that's just off the top of my head. And as Charlie said before, there are all these solar flares. That is a lot of energy going on. And I mean, add into that all of the energy of the collective, as Charlie says, the panic about what Christmas should be, the panic about getting to places when we need to get to places, the exhaustion that comes at the end of a year when everybody's just ready for a break, the regret that comes at the end of the year when you go, I didn't quite do that thing that I'm meant to do. All of these different things that are all buzzing about in the collective. And yet, what are we asking you to do? What are we encouraging you to do? To just go. And in some senses, like, let's be clear here. We know as we're asking that, that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. We know as, you know, we are people who professionally work with energy. We are people who, what we do day in, day out is literally tune into the energy and then tune into our own energy and go, okay, you know, we actively do this. When you are working, I don't know, 40-hour weeks somewhere, or you are doing all these things, and that energetic piece is almost an afterthought with whatever else you're doing. I get that this is hard.
Yeah.
And I will also tell you right now from experience that if you don't actually make your own energy priority, all of this stuff is just going to feel so overwhelming and so exhausting at a time when we're all tired already, because naturally we're going to be, because that's the way the world is pulling us, right? We need to be doing all of the things that we're talking about. And that isn't us preaching to you and telling you like, you must do. It is us saying from experience, we have all been here. It is us saying from experience of watching other people, so many of us are here, we know it. And just imploring you. And hey, you know what? Maybe your idea of wintering is also getting glammed up and going out a couple of times because it feels good. There's no hard and fast rules with this. But the key is really just coming home to yourself and asking yourself, what do I need right now? Because that's the only way we get through this time.
Yes.
It's joy, right? It's joy. It's protecting the spirit of self over the spirit of Christmas or Yule or however you want to celebrate this season. It's making your own joy a priority. And for
but hold on a
that,
second. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You go.
Are those two things different? Because actually, if we peel back the commercialism, if we peel back the bullshit, if we peel back what Instagram says, what is Christmas? What is Yule? It's the spirit of divine light. It's the season of divine light.
Yeah.
And where do we find the divine light? Right here.
Exactly.
So actually, is it prioritizing the spirit of self over the spirit of Christmas, or is it remembering that in a sense, the spirit of joy, the spirit of sense is the spirit of Christmas?
We're going back to the OG, going back to the OG version. Not
Exactly. Because that's what I was just explaining this to my family this morning. I said to them, it's about the birth of the sun again. It's about the birth of the light, right? Like that's what the season is. It's not about like what we're making it out to be, but it's that like reawakening, remembering. It's almost like an honoring of that light, right? Because it's been like now it is like it's coming back because we've gone through all these dark nights and it's been such a long time. And now it's literally starting to flicker up again and move. And I love that. That is so beautiful because that's what we need to honor, right? Like, because we just like the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself is to get quiet and just try and feel into that, right? Because for me, I had this like really beautiful words came through to me the other day, and it was like, I get the most beautiful downloads and connections with the energies when I am quiet, when I am literally like in the dark at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I will get the most beautiful things because no one's talking to me. I'm not connected to anything. It's just me in the dark. And then like the magic starts like floating in and I'm like, shit, this is beautiful. But that's just because I'm quiet and I'm listening. So even if you just make space in this like chaos to stop and listen and just be, and not be something for someone else, but be for you, like that for me feels really important.
And we understand as a group that that requires a dance with guilt and shame. To have that silence and to have that quiet or to reclaim your joy. And then once you've reclaimed that spark, what I think we forget is that other people will witness that, our children will witness that, our families will witness that, our communities will witness that. And the one thing that I remind everybody, anybody, somebody in the queue in a supermarket, as soon as anybody starts talking about New Year and resolutions, I'm like, mine is joy. It's that simple. Like, what brings me joy today? Because joy is the one thing that I am carrying through. Joy is the one thing I'm going to celebrate at Yule, all of the joyful things through the year. I'm going to sit with the death and the grief side of it and all the things I didn't think I was going to get done or I wanted to do and all those things. But I'm going to focus and carry forward that spark of joy. And I think, again, it probably sounds easy, but you have to do that dance with the guilt and the shame of the responsibility that we carry, especially as women, at this time of year. Because that's why it's hard. It can be even harder, I think. Like joy sounds like a really simple thing, and it is, and it's magical and it's powerful. But a lot of people that are listening to this are going to be fighting with well, that's easy to say because I have this many presents to do and I have this much work to do and so on. And I think what I'm saying is take the joy in small pockets, like those breaths that we're talking about. If you need to take 20 in a day and stand on your back doorstep or lock yourself in the downstairs loo, they can still be pockets of joy. Start small, start really small if you need to.
And it's the and, right? Like we don't, my two fellow triangle members here mock me mercilessly because I regularly say yes and instead of saying no, you're wrong. I say yes and, but it's the and here that we're not talking about an or. This doesn't have to be guilt and shame or joy. This doesn't have to be the Christmas traditions or joy. It doesn't have to be the buying the gifts or joy. Like today, I started my day, I had a client session. I'm absolutely knackered. I am ready for the holiday that's going to come at the end of next week when I take the best part of 3 weeks off, right? I had a client session and I sat in it and I had such joy when my client came to incredible realizations and then came out of it and went, I'm tired. Then I went Christmas shopping. I spent a few hours Christmas shopping. And in that time, I'm not going to lie to you, there was ticking in my brain, right, I need to get this and I need to do this and I need to go here and I need to go here. And then equally, there was a little girl who was playing with a great big soft toy that she'd found. And there was a little boy who had this little toy trumpet, which could have either been the most irritating thing in the world at a time when everything felt a bit overstimulating, or just joyful because he was going, listen, Mum, I'm like in a Christmas concert. Woo, 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 woo. It was absolutely beautiful. Like, we can hold these two things. And as you just said, Charlie, we give those examples. Like, when we are able to hold the guilt of, oh my God, the societal conditioning tells me that right now I should be making memories with my children. I should be doing this, this, and this to make memories, along with but you know what my kids want more than anything else? To curl up on the sofa in their pajamas with the whole family and watch Home Alone. When we can hold those two things together, joy becomes the antidote to guilt. And joy can be born from the guilt, in a sense. Like, this doesn't have to be an either or. What we're asking you to do is bring those moments in, as you say, and weave them through like a little sparkling thread that runs through everything else. And the more you weave that thread in, the more it will start to grow. And the more, for the next generation, the guilt won't be there, it'll be joy. Or maybe the guilt will be there, but teeny tiny. Like, we hold it both.
But that's what it means to be human, is to be able to hold those two things at once, that light and that dark, and still be able to keep moving forward.
Yeah. But, and I'm don't and I but, okay.
We're trying to teach her.
We'll get her there.
We're working on it.
But on your to-do for next year, not right now, is to start unraveling why the guilt and the shame is robbing you of so many moments of joy. And I'm not saying like you have to do it right now, but understand in yourself, and I'm not saying you need to eliminate it, but is someone else, some idea that I have, some societal expectation that I'm prescribing to, which I don't actually believe in, but I'm just doing it because everyone else has done it, whatever that is for you, just sit with it and see what comes up. Because there might be a part of you that can let go of that guilt, because it isn't actually your guilt or your shame, but something that your ancestral people have like given to you, because this is how we should be doing Christmas, or this is how we should be doing this, right? So just take a moment, like it doesn't have to be a big excavation, let's do shadow work exercise, but just sit with it and go, maybe I don't need to actually feel guilty about this. Maybe I can just let it go, because letting it go might just be the thing also that makes a little bit more space for a little bit more joy. So that's my but in there.
Or, you know what? You don't even have to dive into the whys. Just fuck it off. Like, it's as simple as that. If you want to, I read something the other day. I'm actually going to go on my phone and I'm going to find it. I shared something on Instagram the other day, that platform of all great philosophy and wisdom, about the fact, hold on, let me see if I can find it, because this might be a challenge.
And I'm just going to say, because I always like to know the why. So my analytical brain wants to know, why the fuck am I thinking this? But I'm all for just letting shit go as well. That's my New Year's resolution, is learning to do more of that.
Yeah, my brain is at a point now, I think, where I have to switch the dig deep button off and just look at a lot of things and go, okay, that's what it is to be human. Does it feel good? No, leaving it, off we go.
Yeah.
I think it's balance, isn't it? And it's ever changing, ever evolving.
Yes.
Like Yolandi
and
said.
Each to their own, because like we always say in our triangle, we all do it differently, right? Like this might be my process, that's Charlie's process, that's Karen's process. So like giving you perspective to go, I'm gonna choose that one, you know. So that's always, or create.
And you might choose none of these.
You might have a totally different one.
Okay, Karen.
I shared something on Instagram the other day. It was by somebody called Lauren of Love. And she wrote, in 2025, I am unsubscribing from the storyline that nitpicking my insecurities, working on myself, and evaluating my blocks will get me to where I want to be. I have done enough work to know that the only thing that is stopping me is the story that something is stopping me. 2025 will be the year I find what I love most about myself, what makes me authentically magical, what I am worthy of being in my essence, and I will cultivate the shit out of that on a regular basis, because I refuse to let what I have been through stop me from who I am becoming. Now, as a trained therapist, I probably shouldn't say any of that, but as a human, I am so tired of us all being in this question of, what are the blocks? What is the thing? You know what? If something's holding you back, let's stop. Let's just stop and let's actually go, what do I want to do right now? What do I want to do? Where's the thread of joy amongst it all? Because isn't that the only way that we move forward properly, by finding the thread of joy?
I think we often mistake joy as being the easy route as well. Because you could listen to that and be like, well, that's avoidance and that's all the things, but it's actually not, because sometimes what we need for joy is going to upset the apple cart, or is going to be in the opposite direction that 90% of humanity are going, or the thing your husband wants to do, or your in-laws want to do, or how everybody else sees the day, the week, the month, whatever it is that we're looking at. And I think joy it is always the best destination. However, sometimes getting out of that starting gate is the stickiness. Like getting your foot over the stile of it is the stickiness in it. So I think, yeah, that's a common theme, is we think joy is easy, and it is when we get there. But sometimes it requires us to go, that's not what I want, or that doesn't fit in. And I think that's something we often miss.
And I just want to say,
But even
no. No. So I just want to say about that word joy as well, because the word joy for me, I wonder how often we misinterpret it and what it means to different people. Like, what is your definition of joy? Because I just want to say, like, for me, joy is peace. Like, if I'm peaceful, I'm fucking joyous, right? My joy isn't happy, smiley, bubbly, blah, blah, blah. My joy is like this feeling inside of me that my lake around me is calm. That's my definition of joy. So I'm going to say, work out your definition of joy, because joy isn't always giggles, laughter, like explosions and stuff. So make sure you know what that is before you quest for joy. Okay, so I just wanted to drop that little baby in there.
And I also want to say joy doesn't always feel good. And hear me out on this, because, you know, what's that Brene Brown quote about the scariest thing that we do sometimes, the scariest moments we have are the moments when, for example, we're laughing with our loved ones, or we're kissing our kids goodnight when they're asleep. Because in those moments of joy, there is the fear that it will be taken from us. You know, we are most vulnerable when we're in that place of joy, in a sense. And so it's scary. I've had 2 clients this year who have come onto calls with me and gone, you know, I've sort of gone, you know, how are things? Well, this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong. And I've been like, that all sounds like bullshit. Tell me how things really are. And when we've boiled it down, actually what we've gotten to is that they're looking for things to be wrong, because the idea of being in a place of joy is just too much. It's just too scary in a world that tells us we'll never get there, in a world that makes joy a destination that seems unreachable. And, you know, yes, look for joy. Yes, put up your hands and follow the joyful things for you. Yes, find out what joy actually feels like for you, and know that the journey there might be scary, and actually the destination of it in every single moment might feel scary if you have spent your whole life trying to keep yourself busy, trying to avoid it in all of the ways. That doesn't mean you're not entitled to it. And at this time of year, more than any other, let yourself feel it. If you know, if and where you can. I know this isn't an easy time of year for everyone, but if and where you can, let yourself feel what joy is for you, however you need to. Because the more we do that, the easier it becomes to hold.
Oh.
Dude, you just know how to bring everything into a nice little basket.
I was just thinking that. I was like, and we're back to sovereignty, knowing we all deserve joy. Thank you for joining us.
Bye now. And on that note, we are on half an hour though, so I'm just going to set that as the official timekeeper tonight.
Oh. On that note, we wish you a very joyful and nourishing Christmas, Hanukkah. I can't remember the other names, but all of the many festivals, Yule, end of Mercury retrograde, full moon, New Year, all of the things. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like to join us on in Glastonbury in July, you can find out all the details on our website. Is there anything else that I've missed?
If you don't like us, please move along.
If you don't like us, don't dislike. Just move somewhere else. It's fine. Thank you very much. We send you on your way through.
If you do like us, please tell all your friends about us as well, because they can come and play with us as well. So I just wanted to say thank you again for all of the love and support during this 2024 year. Thank you to both Charlie and Ceryn for like just keeping this little dream alive with me. I'm very, very grateful. And yeah, so like have a absolutely blessed festive season, and just yeah, just like dip in there and enjoy it as well. And I'm very excited for 2025 for us. There's going to be some really cool shit coming up. I mean, this workshop for one, please get your tickets. It's going to be epic. The fact that we're going to be in the Chalice Well by ourselves in the morning as the sun's coming up, like that's going to be pretty fucking epic. And yeah, so we've got some other interesting little bits that we're going to drop later in the year as well. So watch out for that. But yeah, thank you so much for being with us. Please like, subscribe, share, and all the good stuff as well. So yeah, Charlie.
I think you guys have covered it. We appreciate you. This time of year can be a really hard time of year and not always a joyful one, no matter how much we dig for it. So please know that even when you are feeling alone, you're never really alone. We're there. Probably some other people or spirits that you can't see, and some ancestors. So know that we're sending you love. We are all super excited for next year. We understand how inaccessible Glastonbury can be. And to be honest, we weren't sure we were going to go back, but we are. It seems the universe is on our side, and we have plans for later on in the year to bring something that's even more accessible for those of you that are further away and so on. So we have really big plans. Go gently, enjoy your winter. I hope it's kind. I appreciate you both, to Yolandi and Ceryn. It's been a crazy ride, a crazy year. Every week, one of us says, surely it'll be fine next week. Next week we'll calm down, or what's the worst that could happen? Foolish we are. And gorgeously human. So I'm just sending you oceans of love, and we will see you undoubtedly in the new year.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you.